Hey guys, I'm Jax, and this is my newest review for HotD. Now I don't have to tell you what that means. You've clicked on this video, you've seen the thumbnail. But just to be clear, just so there's no misinterpretation, misunderstanding, or just kind of confusion, I of course mean that this is my review for this hot dumpling. One hot dumpling. Center of pork and chive. No soya sauce. Peek behind the curtain, there's carpet on the floor, and I don't want to spill the soy sauce, so I feel like it's going to be a mistake to not eat it with soy sauce. But let's see how we go. Wow, that was awesome. I don't know what I expected. That's a really good dumpling. That's way better than my local place. This place had a 2-for-1 kind of special, so got my vote. That's amazing. I'm giving this 3.5 out of 5. So HotD Season 3 Episode 2 was a big one. It felt like there was a lot in this episode. One of the episodes where it ends and I go, oh, I should have taken notes. Usually it's I should have taken more notes, but this one was just notes. I've just come back from a weekend-long wedding. Happy to say that it did not go the way of a Game of Thrones wedding. Instead, it was a bit more classical, traditional, Earth wedding. Less murders. No murders, in fact, which was delightful. It was a wonderful time. Little tired now, though. Not gonna lie. So, usually I will never excuse bad takes or incorrect thoughts or kind of moments where you go, who is that? Am I meant to know who that is? But I will this time because I'm very tired from the wedding. But I felt compelled to do the episode. Why? Because I wanted to talk about it, or simply because if I miss one episode, then it's like, what? Just my OCD. It's like you do them all or you don't, and then sometimes I don't do that, and it drives me crazy. So for the 17 people who watch my videos, this one's for you, baby. So lots happened. I feel like I want to just shout out Littlefoot and Burnt Aegon. Their dynamic little adventure on the road is quite delightful, really fun. They're always getting into little scrapes and situations, and just their dynamic and bouncing off each other is really, really fun. I'm loving all of that. That's probably the only characters where I'm like, it's just kind of fun to sit in this little world, and they're in this little carriage, and shit's just going on, and they're just having to deal with it, left or right, whatever situation occurs. And it's kind of delightful how much budget it seems to be getting. For time we open the door, chaos is ensuing outside. Just lots of stuff happening. So yeah, I just really, really like all of that stuff. I think some of the visual imagery in this episode, like last episode gets all the props for the action and the spectacle and the doing the stuff. But sometimes just a simple shot is so powerful. And this episode opens with the bodies floating in the water with just that fire just kind of, I don't know, lighting the sea in this really haunting yet kind of beautiful way. Then the dragon passes and a body kind of floats over the screen. I was like, that's maybe the best shot they've ever made in this show. It was just such a stunning way to start. And it really kind of reminds you, I love that when there's a big battle episode and the first couple of minutes shows the aftermath to kind of really let you sit in, like, you get a bit more of the thrill and the action. And then this, you really get to sit in the true horror of it, the devastation. And I loved that because I was like, ooh, I'm sad. And that's good. The show, at times, I'm like, God, I wish I liked more people. Or at least I emotionally cared about them either way. Like the opening stuff with Jace, I'm like, I didn't really feel much for him. But it is still well made. It's still beautiful. The Queen breaking down and just like that horrible moment when she's like talking to Jace's body and you're like, okay. Oh boy, yeah, this is going to be a big one. And it was devastating. And it's all the more devastating just because of the almost comical situation of him locking his mother in her room to go fight the big battle, and for it to end so brutally and so quickly whilst they still technically won the battle. It's a beautiful kind of horrible mixed bag of emotions, and just, yeah, obviously she's like, was it worth it? And then she's going, no, it wasn't. And of course, I don't know, I guess just because we know what essentially is going to happen, mostly everyone's going to lose or whatever. It's almost a bit of like, what did you think was going to happen when you did all this? And she's like, damn, I lost everybody for this Iron Throne. And I'm like, Yeah, like, what did you think this war was gonna do? Like, yeah. Sucks to be her, I suppose. Or it doesn't, and you just walk into King's Landing, kill like 6 guys, and then just luck out that you have reinforcements. I'm a little mixed on it because, on one hand, kind of amazing and beautiful and epic to see all the dragons rock up, see them all kind of lay down their arms. But then there gets to the situation when they literally are just kind of walking through the castle. And it's kind of awesome and badass to see Daemon just like cutting down people left, right, and center. But it does make me question, like, if these guys knew what was happening and they were like, well, there's a few of us in this castle, we're going to fight back. Like, we're not going to lay down our arms. All of them lost to one guy. And I'm like, I understand he's a good fighter. But you just get like all 20 of you and you just jump him at once. He gets like 3 of you. So it feels a little like cartoonish, a little silly for a show that feels so grand and rich, and there's so much detail in like the locations and the costumes and the sets and the amount of people in each scene and all this stuff. It kind of made King's Landing feel a little small to me, like a little bare bones, where it's just kind of like they run in and they go and they walk in. And it's not even 2. And it's not even like 2 badasses with magical shard plate. And they've got magical swords and they're so much stronger than one person. It's just like, he's just like a guy. And when you take away the magic of the dragons, who are just outside at this point, it's a little convenient how easy they did. And there are moments in there I love. Like, I love him taking out the last guy and then kind of doing a cry where he's like, all right, we're done here? We're done here. Like, no one else is fighting, right? And the silence of everyone else. Like, there's little bits and moments I like. I wonder if maybe he just needed, like, even like 10 guards or something around him to fight a few of the extra guys or whatever, just to make it feel a little less cartoonishly heroic in a more Lord of the Rings sense, and less what Game of Thrones and Westeros kind of feels like to me, I suppose. And when you've got so much, I don't know, like, so many seasons of shows that have done it in certain ways, you kind of feel like they would have learnt from having such a silly hero moment. It kind of feels a little disingenuous. But hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. It was still pretty kind of awesome. It just feels ridiculous when they get to the crown and all the guys are there. Or the throne. And all the guys are there. And they could have just killed them. But then they just happened to be saved at the last minute by all the gold cloaks turning. It's like they didn't know that was going to happen. Maybe you got to like sow the seeds where it's like, he's like, we're going to do this plan. The gold cloaks are going to be with us. And so you just at least set up that, like, they've got a bit of a plan. They've got a bit of a betrayal situation they know is going to happen. Otherwise, it just feels so foolish. And they're so lucky they got through the castle. It just feels ridiculous. It's like, I just don't really see why they would risk it. And understand she's lost her son, all that stuff. It just feels so completely impossible to do what they did. And they only did it just because, like, the writers just let them do it. It doesn't feel like makes sense, I suppose. And the gold close coming in at that last minute feels just so absurdly lucky to me. I just think it would be nicer if maybe halfway through him walking through, she's like, where are the gold cloaks? And he's like, fuck! Oh no! The gold cloaks aren't coming. And then when he gets to that room, he's like, oh, okay, I've made a mistake. We were very cocky. I just presumed they'd like respect me. And then when they finally come in, it's like, oh, it did work and pay off in the end. Or something like that, where it just feels a little bit less lucky, a bit more of like actual kind of thought and tactics go into this like sneak attack. And I understand they expected everyone to lay down their arms, but to actually expect that to happen, like at one point she's like, oh, she like, yeah, like they laid down their arms. And I'm like, you sound very surprised. It just feels very risky and ridiculous. But hey, I don't know. It was a bit of fun seeing them all walk through King's Landing, I suppose. I don't know. I think it's funny because essentially the same scene happens with Aemond at Harrenhall, and just because the dragon helps, that just feels way less silly. Like, I just didn't find that cartoonish. If anything, I'm just like, man, that's badass. He gets off the dragon to like fight people one-on-one. When it's like, if I was him, I'd just be like, I'm gonna let Grandpapa Dragon just toast the whole place. Like, I'm not getting my hands dirty at all. There's just no need. I've got the biggest dragon, and look how good it looks in season 3, and it's just burning everything. That's the other stuff in this episode where I'm like, that's some of the best visuals they've done. The dragon just coming through just that immense smoky haze of clouds where you can't really see it and it's just kind of a shadow, and then as it kind of gets closer it starts burning everything. It just truly haunting, amazing imagery of Harrenhall, and just kind of seeing this like one place that keeps getting smashed and smashed. But to see the dragon kind of doubling down and just toasting it again, I just thought that was really, really haunting and awful. And I just love the imagery of him fighting unnecessarily. Just kind of showed how badass he was. So maybe I'm just a hypocrite, but that just felt less like the castle and more kind of like they're not ready if a dragon is to do that. And so he's just kind of finishing them off and just getting a bit of that bloodlust pleasure because it's a psycho. And then I like the kind of twist on how Daemon rocked up. And then when Daemon gets and meets these guys, I can't remember his name, but I remembered lots of names from this wedding. I didn't. I met 100 people and I don't remember any of their names. Even people I knew the names of. Now after, I'm just like, I've forgotten now. The guy, the king, the Harrenhall's lord or whatever, he's just like, hey, I'm going to do the same thing I did with Daemon. I don't really care. We'll switch sides, whatever. I'll just kill. And then Aemon's just like, bam, no. I thought that's a really interesting juxtaposition, kind of showing the absolute brutality of Aemon. And I thought it was pretty funny how he's just like, yeah, I'm not even going to like try. I'm just going to like hack at these guys. And he gets a knife in the back, which felt like a kind of a fun consequence to having this awesome, badass kind of, you know, one-man army. But when he's got the dragon behind him, no one can really kind of do that. Yet in a room, it's just like, yeah, someone could just get behind you and stab you. Like one on more than one guy. You're not going to be as lucky as Daemon. So I thought that was interesting. I was a little afraid at one point. I'm like, is he going to die? That would be extremely underwhelming. I think with Jace having such an unceremonious death, that works. With Aemon, it's like, I got to be honest. I just got to see him and Daemon have a sword fight at one point. Or a dragon fight. Like, that's just... anything else, I'll probably be disappointed. So it was good when he was looking up at the witch and he's like, fix me. Hopefully you're some kind of magic witch lady. And she's like, I am. This'll work out fine. So that was all good, and yeah, trying to think. Anything else? Oh, yeah, and then Otto Hightower comes, and maybe the worst beheading ever. Theon Greyjoy, you're off the hook, because Daenerys 2.0, she's all like, I don't want to do this. And she keeps like whispering to Daemon, like, I mean, we're taking the throne, but I don't know if I can do this. And I'm like, everyone's watching. You just don't seem very queenly to me. You don't seem very powerful. That's quite weak. It's to be like, I want this. But if I have to get my hands dirty, I don't know if I can do it. And I'm like, this just tonally, I'm like, if I had decided to, like, if I was the gold cloak guy, I'm like, yeah, let's lock in Daemon. I'd be like, oh, this is like not the start. This is not the powerful queen that I thought I'd chosen. This feels kind of weak and like a little pathetic. And I understand she's grieving, but it just... She's just like, oh, I don't want to do it. And then she gets up there and she's like holding her sword, like crying. And I'm just kind of like, I just don't know if you've projected the emotional presence that maybe everybody thought you would. It just, yeah, I don't know. I think she's cooked it. You get hand given everything and you get a prisoner of war, a traitor to you. And it just, yeah, it comes across as like just strange. I'm like, I understand she's not thinking because her son's just died. She's lost everything. But yeah, very politically unsavvy, if you ask me. I did like though that the Green Queen rocks up and she's like, I gave you the castle. That's all good. Oh my God, you killed my dad. Bro, what the fuck? So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see where all that all goes. The Green Queen, I don't know why she didn't have a better plan. I just presume she had like a secret tunnel that she knew she was going to use. She's just like running through the streets being like, hey, we can't get out here. I'm like, I don't know, man. Everyone's just making bad calls. Everyone's not thinking things through. Everyone's doing crazy, dumb shit. I just generally think the whole Green Queen's plan seems a little absurd. It's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like my brain's not working properly because I'm like, am I missing something? It doesn't really make sense to me. But hey, what are you going to do? I thought it was visually pretty interesting, visually stunning. Lots of action, lots of just stuff. I love seeing the lion head at the start with Daemon. Just like seeing a lion in it. It's like, yeah, Lannister. Stuff like that's just kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. First week, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Outside of the visuals, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I care anymore. But this one, I'm like, nah, I like this enough. I don't think it's ever going to be more than like a, yeah. So, I don't know. Game of Thrones to me was always a 10 out of 10, and then at one point, I guess, a 0 out of 10. But that 10 was always really a 20 out of 10. I was so obsessed, loved it so much. This is always going to be like, yeah, like a 6 or a 7. I don't know. It's fine. Sometimes I don't care. But, yeah, some interesting stuff, some questionable stuff. Just more Littlefoot and Aegon the Burnt. That's all I want, really. Just a little sitcom of them in that little wagon having just a really bad time. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I would love to know what you guys think of HotD Season 3, Episode 2. Big yays? Big nays? Or for the first time on the internet, a nuanced opinion.